Today, we're going to dive into a story that starts with a pretty scary security threat in a new AI browser and ends with a core concept that's fundamental to how AI actually works. It's a wild connection that you probably haven't thought of.
So let's kick things off with this powerful new type of tool called an agentic browser. Specifically, we're looking at a big vulnerability that was just found in one of the first ones to hit the market, a tool called Perplexity Comet.
You know, security researchers over at Brave posed this exact question, and it is pretty alarming. They uncovered a major security flaw. They call it an indirect prompt injection that could let a malicious website basically hijack your AI browser and steal your private data.
And here's the crazy part. It is shockingly simple. All you have to do is ask your AI assistant for a totally normal task, like, hey, can you summarize this web page for me? But what you don't know is that an attacker has hidden malicious commands right there on the page, maybe in text that's invisible to you. The AI can't tell the difference between the article you want it to read and those secret commands, so it just follows them. And suddenly, an attacker could have access to your other tabs. We're talking email, online banking, you name it.
So what exactly are these incredibly powerful browsers that can be tricked like this? Well, they're part of a whole new wave of tech that wants to put your web browser on autopilot.
Think about how you use a browser now. You do all the work, right? The clicking, the typing, navigating from tab to tab, it's all manual. Well, an agentic browser like Perplexity Comet completely flips that script. It acts like your own personal AI agent. You just give it a goal, like find and book me the cheapest flight to Hawaii, and it takes over, doing all the clicking and typing for you across multiple sites.
And the potential here is, well, it's pretty mind-blowing. We're talking about automating stuff that used to take forever. Imagine your browser summarizing a long video in seconds, or drafting emails for you from a quick voice command. It could even act as your personal shopping assistant, comparing products you have open in different tabs to find you the absolute best deal. It's a huge leap forward.
Okay, so we have this insanely powerful tool, but it also has this pretty serious security hole. And that brings up a really big fundamental question.
I mean, if an AI can be tricked so easily by just a hidden comment on a web page, how can we possibly trust it? How do we ever really know how confident it is in its own predictions versus just kind of guessing?
Let's really dig into that. Is there a way to actually quantify how confused or how certain a language model is when it's generating text? Can you put a number on its uncertainty?
Well, as it turns out, you can. And its name might just sound a little bit familiar.
The answer is a metric called, you guessed it, perplexity. In the simplest terms, perplexity is a way to measure how surprised or perplexed a language model is by a sequence of words. A low perplexity score means the model is very confident in what it's seeing.
Okay, let's walk through this with a super simple sentence. A red fox. The AI is basically always playing a game of what comes next. So for the very first word, it calculates the probability for A and gives it a score of 0.4. Right, so now that it has A, it's thinking, okay, what's a likely next word? Well, red makes a lot of sense, so it gets a decent probability score. It's not surprised at all.
Now, given the phrase a red, the model gets even more confident. It thinks fox is a really strong candidate here, so it assigns it a high probability of 0.55.
And finally, after the whole phrase, a red fox, the model is practically screaming that a period has to come next. See? At every single step, it made a confident, logical prediction. It wasn't perplexed at all.
So a model that's really good at this guessing game, one that isn't easily surprised by a logical sentence, is considered less confused, and that's what gets it a low perplexity score.
And that's the bottom line, really. When you hear AI researchers talking about what makes a language model good, a lower perplexity score is always better. It's the mark of a more accurate, more confident AI.
And this brings us right back, full circle, connecting the name of that vulnerable AI browser with the very metric we use to measure an AI's confusion.
See, the name is no coincidence. The entire mission of the company, Perplexity AI, is to build language models that achieve a super low technical perplexity score. They want their AI to be as unconfused as possible.
And here's the brilliant part, the double meaning. By building AIs with low technical perplexity, their goal is to lower your real-world perplexity, your confusion, when you're trying to find answers. It's a clever play on words baked right into their mission.
But, and this is a huge but, as that security flaw clearly shows, all this power has to be balanced with protection. Researchers are already proposing some common-sense guardrails, like making sure the AI can tell the difference between a website's content and your commands,
or forcing it to ask for your permission before it does something sensitive. So this leaves us with one final, really important question to chew on. As we start handing over the keys to our digital lives to these AI copilots, how do we make sure we're building the guardrails to keep them from driving right off a cliff? Because one thing is for sure, our safety and our privacy can't just be an afterthought.